So tomorrow we have our first leg of our Scottish Premiership playoff between Livingston and Ross County to determine who will make up the final team of our 12-team Scottish Premiership next season after some debate about restructuring the top flight was quickly dismissed. It seems like even though it probably needs it needs to be expanded, so potentially this game could have been meaning nothing with Livingston potentially coming up anyway and Ross County no need to go down, but this is the one that determines who will be in the league next season. Ross County, it's their third occasion in the playoffs in the last 3 seasons. The first time around against Partick Thistle, while they did get the better of it in the end, it looked like for a little bit that they were going to be gone. A late comeback and a penalty shootout win saw them stay in the division. Last season's was a lot more comfortable against Wraith Rovers across the two legs, so they'll be hoping for something similar this time around, but I would expect Livingston to give them a whole lot more grief than Wraith Rovers did, particularly because Livingston just drew a lot of games this season. They could have potentially come up on their own without the playoff position needing to be the case if they hadn't have drawn as many fixtures as they had. Of course, Falkirk didn't get a single win over Livingston in the Championship this season, regardless of the fact that Falkirk came up as champions. But this game, of course, should tell what should potentially happen, although there is a second leg to come where something might give. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. Of course, Ayr took a lead into the playoff second leg against Partick Thistle and then lost, so there is that, but Livingston came through comfortable winners in the last round against Partick Thistle and to earn themselves a spot in this tie. So let's do a little bit of a breakdown between it before we get into the actual prediction for it. So interestingly, Livingston have actually played against Ross County on one occasion this season in the Scottish Cup, where Livingston, as you can see, came away 3-2 winners after extra time. Livingston actually took the lead 3 times in the game as well while being away from home, and Ross County got themselves back into it twice, and they just couldn't get themselves back into it a third time. Although I don't know to read too much into this, because Livingston did then go out to St Johnstone after that Graham Carey screamer at Livingston, where and of course St Johnstone find themselves relegated. So I don't know if this is too much of a telling example, but the last Premiership fixture that the two played as well, Livingston actually won that as well to give themselves a somewhat fighting chance before getting relegated personally. So that is kind of the head-to-head, if you like, for the past two fixtures that they've played against each other. They've only played each other once this season, being in separate divisions, and Livingston did come away with the win, despite the fact that Ross County were the favourites for it. Livingston did end up beating them. So, on to tomorrow's fixture. Being at Livingston and them having a little bit of confidence about them, I would say. Livingston, I do believe, were the last Championship side to win a playoff as well and come up at more often than not as the Premiership side that ends up winning the playoff. So given the fact that it's at Livingston and Livy have a bit of momentum heading into it, Ross County might be feeling a wee bit sorry for themselves heading into the tie because they have found themselves in this position for the third season in a row. However, that could have the opposite effect and go, okay, we know how to get this done, as it were. But in this case, I'm going to go for a 2-1 Livingston win heading into the weekend's second leg up in Dingwall, which has proven to be crucial for Ross County in the past with these playoff fixtures as well. I'll obviously address who I think will go through fully in the second prediction video for it. What I would like to mention though is, do I think either manager is at risk of losing their job? Davy Martindale I don't think is at any risk of losing his job should Livingston go up or not. I think the new owner said that his position is safe. Don Cowie, if they do get relegated, potentially could lose his job, or they might choose to stick with him. You never know. But Ross County, of course, have gotten a couple of managerial appointments wrong in recent years. Derek Adams, the most prominent of that. So they may choose to just stick with Don Cowie and see what he can do if they go down. So, will it be third time's the charm for Ross County to go down and Livingston to bounce straight back up after being relegated from the previous season? I think there are some Scottish Premiership fans that would prefer it to be Ross County staying in the division, because Livingston did build up a bit of a reputation last time of being an extremely difficult team to play against when they were up in the top flight. And there's obviously the fact that they do have an artificial pitch. You know, Falkirk's, for example, is also an artificial pitch, but when you look at the difference between the two, Livingston's pitch isn't in great nick compared to Falkirk's, so potentially people would want Ross County to stay in the division because of that. But I am going to go for a 2-1 Livingston win in the first leg anyway. Thank you very much to all the new viewers and subscribers. If you are new around here and you aren't subscribed, please consider doing so, and I'll catch you in the next one.